Hello everybody, Dr. Matt here, and in this particular Tennant Hair video we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today I'm going to be actually testing two different products and comparing them and see which one kind of works better for the Tennant hairstyles. So today we're going to be comparing the Alterna Hemp Hair Concrete versus the American Crew Fiber. So I've been a long time user of the Hair Concrete, and I know many people have been asking about the fiber, and I know a lot of people also use that, so I figured I would finally bite the bullet and buy some myself and try it out. So I'm going to be comparing these two products in a number of different categories, and since my hair is a little bit on the shorter side right now, I just got it cut recently, these are really going to be testing it out for the shorter Tennant hairstyles. So if you guys like this video, let me know, and maybe I'll do another one in the future for some of the longer hairstyles and see how each of these products hold up there as well. So let's get started with the easy categories. So first things first, size. Both of these are equal. They're both sold in 2-ounce containers. I believe the American Crew stuff, you occasionally can also find a smaller container. I think it's 1 ounce, so if you wanted to get it to try it out, it's a little bit cheaper, so you might be able to do that. The Alterna does not. It's 2 ounces or nothing. So our second category is going to be price. The Alterna Hemp Hair Concrete is $12 even. That's from the Alterna website, free shipping. You can also find it on Amazon, but I find that the prices there, for some reason, vary wildly from just day to day. Sometimes it's $10, sometimes it's $25. I have no idea why. So if you can, I just get it straight from the Alterna website. I'll put a link in the description box below for that. The American Crew Fiber is sold at a lot of stores. I got mine at Target, and this was $16.99. So 17 bucks, 12 bucks. So I definitely say the Hair Concrete wins that category. So the third category is totally personal preference, but we're going to look at scent. So the Hair Concrete is actually a little bit different than it was when I first started using it a couple years ago. Back then it smelled like kind of like pastries and berries. It smelled really good. Now it's a little bit different, still smells good, but now it has kind of a lemongrassy smell with a little bit of mint. So it still smells great, and it's a little bit more subtle. The Fiber has a little bit of a stronger scent, and it basically smells just straight up like lemon. So both smell fine. Like I said, the Fiber seems to be a little bit stronger than the Concrete, so I'd say they're pretty evenly matched there, so that one's up to you depending on what you like. So that does it for the easy categories. So next I'm going to basically just style my hair with each product, and I'm going to compare things like hold, look, and how they hold up throughout the day, and how easily they can be sort of retouched. So let's get started. Alright, so we're going to try out the Fiber first, since that's the new stuff. So the texture looks pretty similar to the Concrete. It looks pretty thick and kind of wax-ish. So I'm going to use about the same amount as I normally would. So I will say this stuff definitely feels a little bit less thick and not quite as sticky as the Concrete. It feels a little bit more like a wet texture. So I think actually I need a little bit more. Alright, so it's interesting, when you're putting it in your hair, the texture starts to really, you feel it really grip. It feels almost like glue. So I'm not sure if that's quite enough, so I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay, so the hold feels quite good, feels pretty similar to the Concrete, and this does, I'm going to get a little bit closer, it does seem to give a little bit more of a wet look on its own than the Concrete does. So I think it looks pretty good. So we're gonna kind of road test it for a bit, and see how it holds up throughout the day. So back in a while. Alright, so this is what it looks like after having it done for about 8 or 9 hours or so, and going out and doing a few things, and, you know, normal everyday wear and tear. So it has, as you can see, it has definitely started to fall down a little bit, and I have had to fix it probably 2 or 3 times throughout the day, just a short little ruffle to get it standing back up again. So I think for the fiber, I'm going to give the hold like a 4 out of 5. So it was pretty good, but I did have to fix it a number of times and that sort of thing. So, but as far as look is concerned, it did hold up pretty well. The wet look kind of faded a little bit, and I think it just ended up being a little bit shiny looking, a little bit more shiny than the concrete, which is fine. So as far as being able to sort of retouch it and fix it a few times, it did hold up okay. I mean, after fixing it, it held up for, you know, pretty well for a while. But I did notice that after messing with it a few times, it did start to look a little bit grainy, so the product didn't really seem to take all that well to lots of fiddling. So I'm going to give the retouchability, is that a word? It's a word now. I'm going to give the retouchability a 4 out of 5 as well. So, and I did notice also that it does feel a lot lighter in your hair than the concrete does, so I'm anticipating that this is going to be a little bit easier to wash out, probably. So, more on that in a minute, but you know, as far as everything else, I guess overall I'll give the fiber probably like a 4.5 out of 5. Alright, so this is day 2 of using the fiber. So this has been in now for a full day of work, so probably about, you know, 10 hours or so since I styled it this morning. I did use a little bit more of the fiber this morning because I figured maybe that would help keeping up the hold throughout the day, and it did. I didn't have to fix it nearly as much, but I did notice while I was styling it, basically it's like as soon as you put that stuff in and you work it in, it like really grabs hold real quick, and so you need to kind of style it a little bit more quickly before it really sets. I also noticed that after I applied the product and it was looking pretty good, I started running a comb through it to smooth out some areas, and the comb seemed to almost like totally destroy the texture that I had. Like I don't know how that happened, but it seems like it didn't really take well to getting a comb through it. So I'm still gonna stick with basically like a 4, maybe 4.5 out of 5 for the hold. Like I said, it does seem to hold up better if you just use a little bit more of the product than you normally would. And as far as retouchability, I still have to say like 4 out of 5 because it does seem to lose a lot of the texture, and it does get a little bit grainy looking the more that you mess with it. So I guess we'll say overall for the fiber, I'll give it like a 4.5 out of 5. Okay, so this is day 3 of using the American Crew fiber. I decided to give it one more chance, and today I didn't even straighten my hair or anything. I just washed it, and I just put the stuff in, and I tried to go for like a just general Arthur Darville look, and it didn't even work for that. This stuff is like completely unforgiving. So like as soon as I put it in my hair, I tried to style it immediately before this stuff like instantly just grabbed vicious hold, and I just couldn't get there. So now I have like, what the fuck is that? Just bits sticking straight up. That my hair's not even straight. It shouldn't do that. So you know, I guess technically the hold is still okay. I would still probably give the hold like a 4.5 out of 5, but it's certainly not reworkable at all. I've changed my mind, because at first I thought it was like, yeah, sort of mediocre But the more that I've used it, it's like once it's in there and your style is set, there's no turning back. You cannot really fix it, because once it dries, your hair feels very light and it feels almost like you had used a gel. So if you try to mess with it, you can't do it. Like even you know, the second day when I had straightened my hair to do the Tennant hair, I had this one piece of hair right here that was like sticking straight up, and no matter what I did, I'm pulling on it and messing with it, and it just would not move from that spot. So the more that I use this stuff, the less I like it. So at this point, the hold is still fine, so it may work for you. It may just be a problem for me because I have thick hair and it's kind of coarse and all that really annoying stuff. But you know, so I guess for me overall right now, I'm gonna give the American Crew Fiber like 3 out of 5, because it's just not my favorite. Alright, today I'm going to use the Hair Concrete. So you can see the texture is similar. This does look a little bit less shiny, a little bit more matte looking. Now, I've used this for a long time, so I'm pretty familiar with how much I need, so it's definitely less than I needed to use for the fiber. So texture-wise, this definitely feels thicker and a little bit more sticky. It's not quite as wet and gel type feeling as the fiber was. Okay, so despite my hair being annoying today and giving me shape problems, I was able to get a comb through this stuff without ruining the texture, so I'm going to get a little bit close so you can see it's definitely not quite as much of a wet look as the fiber is, but then a little bit less shiny, a little more of a matte finish. So now it's time to road test it, so I'll be back in about 8 hours or so. Okay, so it's been about 8 hours now, so right off the bat I can say that the hold was excellent. It did hold up very well. I did continue fiddling with it for a while after I finished recording because I wasn't happy with how the style came out, and so I'll get a little bit closer so you can see that it did not get grainy after messing with it like the fiber did. So I'm definitely going to give the hold a 5 out of 5 because this stuff is just like, you can't really mess it up. Even if you go outside and it gets windy, you know, it still holds up fine. But it is still, you know, plenty soft, so it doesn't turn into a rock or anything like that. So definitely 5 out of 5 for the hold there, so I have to say that the Hair Concrete takes the win on that one. So if we look at retouchability, it's definitely also much better, at least for my hair type, than the fiber is, because basically, like I said a second ago, I can mess with it all day and do this and mess it up and fix it and whatever, and it still holds up and it doesn't get grainy or weird looking. One thing I forgot to mention about the fiber also is that it is totally not at all waterproof. One of the things about the Hair Concrete they mention, they call it waterproof. I mean, obviously when you take a shower it's going to come out, but the nice thing about the concrete is that if you step outside and it's like raining a little bit and you're outside for a couple of minutes, it's not going to just destroy your hair. Whereas the fiber, I quickly found out because I did just that. It was raining, not heavily, but it was raining a little bit, and I stepped outside and my hair got a little bit wet and it just instantly just fell apart. So, retouchability for the concrete, I'm going to go with 5 out of 5 as well, so we're going to give them the win on that one over the fiber too. So I'm going to try this stuff out for a couple more days, so I'll give it you know, an equal battle, 3 days of each product, so I will see you soon. Alright, so this is day 2 of the hair concrete, and this is after having it in for a full day of work, so it's probably been in my hair for about 9 or so hours by now. So I'm sticking with my guns here, and I'm going to give the hold a 5 out of 5 still, because I haven't really had to touch it all day, aside from fixing it a little bit after, you know, changing into comfy clothes and that sort of stuff. So it definitely holds up a lot better than the fiber did for me, so we're sticking with 5 out of 5 there. Now as far as retouchability, again, gonna stick with my 5 out of 5 because like I said, I've changed my shirt a couple of times today, and I've had to, you know, fix it just because the style got kind of messed up while I was changing and that sort of thing. But as you can see, it is still not grainy or weird, so it's definitely a lot more pliable and fixable. So let's see what day 3 brings. So this is the 3rd and final day of using the hair concrete. So at this point it's probably been in for about 12 hours or so. It's been a pretty long day, crazy day at work too, so I did fix it a couple of times because I was like running around and got a little bit sweaty and messed up, so I did fix it. But as you can see, it did still hold up quite well. So I'm definitely sticking with my 5 out of 5 for the hold. Now as for retouchability, you know, I did, like I said, I did fix it a couple of times today, and it did, you know, in the front it did start to get a little bit grainy looking just because I messed with it so much. But I'm definitely still going to stick with a 5 out of 5 there. So that does it for this product battle. So in the battle of hair concrete versus fiber, I have to say that the hair concrete in a landslide majority wins. So as for the fiber, we can just say jog on. But I don't know, maybe it'll work for you. Maybe it just has to do with my hair type, because my hair is thick and curly and a little bit coarse. So maybe the fiber is not great for me, but maybe it'll work for you if your hair is a little bit thinner, or maybe on the straighter side or whatever. You know, it's not a terrible product, but it just didn't work well for me. So as for now, I'm going to be sticking with my trusty hair concrete until maybe some other product comes down the line that you guys want me to test out. So be sure to let me know, and I'll gladly do that in a future video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, I hope it was helpful, and as always, thanks for watching.